This is the Marble Machine X, a programmable music instrument using marbles to play music. My big dream is to complete the Marble Machine X and go on a world tour with my band Wintergatan and play live music featuring the Marble Machine X on stage. Making the machine work is difficult. I've spent years teaching myself mechanical engineering, trying every day to finish the project, but I keep failing over and over again. Every time I fail, I try to learn something from it. I believe that if I keep making improvements, the machine will stick the landing one day. In this video, I'm working on putting parts together for the clock escapement marble gates. The escapement gates are making sure that only one marble at a time gets dropped on the music instruments, and they sit here at the front of the machine. The gates are supported by the escapement brackets, and today I'm going to start by putting these brackets together. All the holes in these brackets are for M6 bolts, and the laser cutting leaves a little residue that I'm cleaning out with a drill here. And now you can see that the bolt is slipping right through. And while I'm working on these small little details, all that goes through my head is world tour, world tour, world tour. I've designed these parts to be 8mm thick, but I ordered them in two 4mm layers and sandwiching and welding them together for two reasons. It was cheaper and I could get faster, cheaper delivery. Here I'm checking if the parts are still flat after welding. Seems like I've managed to avoid welding distortion, so all I'm thinking here is world tour, world tour, world tour. And it's done. Here's the computer design and here's the real parts. So pretty accurate, I have to say, and no time to rest because as you can see on my work table, I have so many parts to prepare for assembly. The next part I want to work with is the marble droppers for the cybergate. The cybergate sits here on the side of the machine and will drop marbles on the cyberbase. And I'm going to start to work on these front marble drop arms here. When I ordered these laser cut profiles, there's a limit on how small parts I can order, so sometimes I need to add this saw away tab and put two small parts together into a larger one for them to be approved. So that's why I'm sawing away that part there, and now I have the same issue as before. There's some residue left and I'm trying to use a broken drill and see if I can kind of hack style re-sharpening it. And as you can see here, it's kind of heated up and I think that's kind of bad, but let's see if it can do the job. After all, it's just drilling out the kind of residue from this hole. It's not really drilling out any material. Let's try with the screw, and what do you know? It worked. So my hack job of sharpening this drill have served its purpose. So I could drill out all the holes, and now I have to check this puzzle fit. And I actually didn't cut away enough in the corners, calculating for the curve of the laser cut. So I had to file the opening up here. Now the puzzle fit works, and that looks great. So I welded these together, and here you can see them welded together already. Next step is heat shrink. I'm using this for sound, so from the whole clock escapement gate I've banned metal on metal. Metal on metal make a sharp sound, and the heat shrink makes a huge difference. Here I'm using silicone tubes. I'm attaching the silicone tube with these two pegs. It's a mechanical fit and I'm pushing it in place with my Diresta ice pick. So no glue, mechanical fit. I really like that. That fits and look perfect. The droppers are designed to be adjustable in height. That's why you can see this long slot here. It didn't really fit from the beginning. I'm just sanding away some residue. Then you can see how the slot slides in and out of this foot. So with these bolts, we can later adjust the height of every marble drop. That has been an essential function to design for. And now I'm adding one of the coolest parts, the pwam parts cut by Rudy from grandgarage.eu, a fantastic makerspace in Linz, Austria. If you're in Linz, check out Grand Garage. It seems to be an awesome place. And Rudy machined these to perfection. I have a snap fit that goes in there, and then the two flower gears are kind of sandwiching the metal part. And yeah, I'm proud of these parts. I haven't been close to this kind of finish ever. Look at this negative here with the black bolts on the metal and the silver bolts on the black pwam. Golf clap for myself. The story behind these brass wheels is kind of fun because I actually didn't want too much brass on the machine as the color is a little bit different, but Discord chat bullied me into using brass, and now I'm really happy that you did because these looks awesome. Here's the brass wheels in context of the escapement gate. It's two wheels, one on either side of the gate, and they have been water cut by Jeffer in Cleveland, Ohio. And as you can see, they leave a kind of rough, beautiful but rough finish that might wear out the pwam escapement over time. You can see kind of there that I managed to grind some pretty rough marks in the pwam. So what I'm going to try to do is that I'm going to try to take a wire wheel, put it in my drill press, and lightly just buff the edge of this teeth here. So this is really not a gear, this is an escapement wheel. This is exactly the kind of part that sits in every clock and makes a tick and a tock. You can hear there the sound different. Here I'm using the soft clock teeth, and as you can see here, I couldn't even make a scratch almost. So buffing with the wire wheel seems to really help. And this took a long time. 32 brass wheels times 8 tooth. You do the math. And here, for something controversial, I'm just showing you, I will actually not polish these gears. I really prefer the unpolished Blade Runner aesthetics here. The escapement wheels have been through some tough stuff through their lives, right? It tells kind of that story. I'm bracing myself for the incoming storm of rotten tomatoes because I know that you wanted these brass wheels to be shiny. You got the brass wheels, but I got Blade Runner, so it's a win-win according to me. One of my best designs in this whole escapement gate is these push arms. You can see them in the render here. They're being pushed by the marble dropping arms, and they go all the way back to the left on the screen and activating the pallets that releases the escapement wheel. And it also doubles as a kind of a soft close, you know, like you have in kitchen drawers to remove sound. And I've actually ordered these parts machine bent by 247tailorsteel.com, and look at this precision. It's on the 100th of a millimeter, despite the fact that they warned me that my openings were too close to the bend. I had to actually sign a waiver that the tolerances might be a little bit off, and still the tolerances are spot on, including my silicone tube there in the end. So again, 247tailorsteel.com, this is not sponsored, I'm just a super happy client, and you guys are doing fantastic work, so thanks for the awesome delivery. So I'm putting on the tube here, and again, it's the metal on metal sound that I want to avoid of all places in the machine. silicone tube is the new washer stacks. Here I'm attaching it on all 32 push rods, and everything you have to do 32 times takes a lot of time. And look at Plywood Wilson playing with his new friends in the background. I actually designed this hole to the wrong size. I just forgot to increase this hole for some reason. I made this hole 2.5mm in CAD. So now I have to manually drill this hole to 3mm, and it's a little bit hardened from the laser. It's stainless steel. So I'm going to try to be super ambitious with my cooling of my drill. I'm putting my air compressor and I'm blowing compressed air directly at the drill, and I'm spraying the drill with water, and I'm dipping the part in oil between each drilling operation, and I managed to drill all the 32 push rods with one and the same drill. So perhaps I did a better job at keeping this drill cold than I normally do. And now we can attach these push rods to the pwam escapements themselves. These are other amazing parts from groundgarage.eu, and I've been looking at these parts so many times, and seeing this come together is kind of cool. So I'm making a little test dry assembly run here with the brass gear and then with the escapement, and yeah, this looks pretty legit actually. I have to say that I'm beginning to become pretty proud of this. The parts look great. I just hope this works as good as it looks once the marbles are actually flowing through these parts. At this time it was afternoon in my workshop, and the afternoon sun was coming in, falling over my beautiful parts. Seeing the brass wheels glistening in the sun was like a religious experience for my maker heart. Something feels different for me in the whole project. I am working methodically in a way I haven't done before. So if we look back to how it looked when I was working on the first machine, you can kind of see that there has been some kind of progress. I'm looking so much forward to make the upcoming videos from here on, because even though I'm raving about how fantastic these parts look, we don't know yet if they work as intended. So it's not until we actually see marbles running through these marble gates, playing music on music instruments, that we can actually call this a home run. I was looking down into my boxes, and even the boxes are beautiful. Yes, I'm in love with all these parts, as you can hear, and I'm having so much fun with this. So here you can see how the table looked like in the beginning of my workday, and this is at the end. I managed to post-process a lot of parts that are now ready for final assembly, which will happen in upcoming videos. And I want to thank everyone who has watched all the way to the end. You are awesome, and I want to thank, of course, everyone who are supporting this project through YouTube memberships and Patreon. You give me the freedom to follow my dream. I can't thank you enough. Let's make the world tour happen. Let's assemble more parts, and let's celebrate the fact that Plywood Wilson is playing with pwam Wilson without, not completely friction free, but without major disasters. No tears for a whole day. I'm so proud.